Before we start, let me explain something. What we're going to talk about today is a little bit of a wake up call. We live in an awesome country. We're allowed to do things here that we wouldn't be allowed to do in other places. The ability to vote, go to school, be defended by the military and police, and more are just some things that make America awesome. But every place has a backstory, and America's backstory gets a little scary. From Native Americans to slavery, some bad things paved the way for the lives we have today. But for our final lesson of the year, we're going to focus on the decisions made by early white settlers that led to them taking land from the natives for the sake of their country. It focuses a little bit on religion and some cruel acts. But the best part about history is that we can learn from our mistakes so we can make ourselves better. So let's get started. So these Native Americans you learned about, this was their land. They lived for thousands of years with very few problems. Then, all of a sudden, some dudes show up with better weapons and take everything they love.
Oh no!
Wrong, right? Well, to them it was. But what about the other side? To every peanut butter, there's a jelly. To every burger, there's a bun. To every toothpaste, there's a toothbrush. Got it. Yep, I'm the best. So what made these people that came to the U.S. think they had any right to take everything from the natives? Well, it was manifest destiny. Have you had enough yet? Because I did. Well, the reason this idea of manifest destiny is such a big deal is because it paved the way for what made America so awesome. A lot of why our country is so big and so popular and so strong is founded on this idea. So let's explore it more.
Yeah!
Starting in the 1800s, well before the Trail of Tears and Custer's Last Stand, these new Americans were convinced that it was their main purpose, given to them by God, to expand, to take over and make America bigger and better. It didn't matter that natives lived there. They felt that their religion gave them the right to expand and spread. So let's go back to how it starts. Long before the Trail of Tears, these white settlers we're talking about here were in America long before Custer's Last Stand and Andrew Jackson and all that stuff. They've been saying that America was theirs since the 1700s, but the region they were living in was tiny. That was until the Louisiana Purchase. In the early 1800s, a lot of people moved to the U.S., and a lot of people who were living there had more children. So the U.S. population exploded. It grew from around 5 million people in 1800 to more than 23 million people by 1850. Well, sounds great, right? Family getting big, lots of new people moving in from around the world? Wrong. Just like the old video, wrong. There was a massive depression. In short, there were not enough jobs, not enough money, not enough homes, and there were way too many people. So, millions of Americans moved west in search of new land and new opportunities. President Thomas Jefferson kicked off the country's westward expansion in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase, purchasing about 828,000 square miles for $15 million from France, and nearly doubling the size of the United States.
Wow!
Cool, right? Nobody lived in that place that they bought at all. I mean, except for hundreds of thousands of Native Americans, but who cares? I care. I care. In addition to sponsoring the Western expedition of Lewis and Clark, Jefferson also set his sights on Spanish-owned Florida. Spain also claimed that they owned Texas, but the president at the time didn't care at all. He took it. It kind of went like this. Hey, you have Florida, but Texas is technically ours. We found it first and manifest destiny. What do you even mean? It means, I can take any land I want because God told me it was my right?
What?
James Monroe created a policy known as the Monroe Doctrine, which basically said that if any Europeans try to get in the way of the US expanding throughout North America, that they would go to war with them. So think of it like this. Millions of people are born here. Millions more come into the US. The presidents buy you more and more and more land and tell everyone that they'll fight them if they get in the way. This paved the way for the idea of, you guessed it, manifest destiny. Basically, if the president was telling you it was okay to take away what wasn't yours, it's no wonder the white settlers at the time thought the same thing. Their leader was leading by example.
Yeah.
So who made this phrase? Well, somebody had to come up with it. It's the same thing as that Sanic meme. Somebody had to sit there and think of that and make it. At least I think someone did. By the time Texas was added to the Union as a state in 1845, the idea that the United States' duty was to expand west all the way to the Pacific Ocean had spread to all white settlers. It didn't matter if you were rich, poor, lived in the North or the South, all people living in the U.S. agreed with the idea that it was their given right to expand. So this idea just needed a name, and that's where Manifest Destiny comes in. The phrase Manifest Destiny first appeared in an editorial published in the 1845 issue of the Democratic Review, written by a guy named John O'Sullivan. In it, he urged national unity on behalf of the fulfillment of our manifest destiny to overspread the continent allotted by Providence for the free development of our yearly multiplying millions. What does that mean in English? Well, it means, hey, we all have to stick together. It's our manifest destiny to spread around the continent and multiply. So basically, he's telling everybody it's okay to take what's not yours. Around the same time, he used the phrase again when talking about more land that the U.S. was looking to take over in Oregon. So by the time the U.S. government got the land in Oregon, you would think they would be satisfied, right? Wrong. They wanted more. And what do you think gave them the right to take more? Well, I'll tell you. Manifest Destiny! The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ended the Mexican-American War in 1848, added an additional 525,000 square miles of U.S. territory, including all or parts of what is now California, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and Wyoming. Even though Manifest Destiny seemed like a good idea to the average American at the time, now we can see the horror it brought to the people the U.S. government took land from. From their point of view, the government was giving them the okay to expand and take land. And they did it all because they felt like it. It's no different than a bully taking your lunch because he felt like it. And then the principal asking him why he took it, and he says, "It's my God-given right to take it." And the principal being like, "Okay, go ahead." So let me summarize really quick. The people who were running our country kind of inspired this idea of manifest destiny, and this guy, John O'Sullivan, just stoked the fire a little bit by giving it a name. From the point of view of the white settlers at the time, they were doing what they thought was best for the country. But from the point of view of the natives, more and more of their land was being taken over by people who showed up to the country about 10,000 years after them. Although this idea seems unfair, without it, America wouldn't be what it is today.